Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Gas Guzzler lifts gas and oils from land, vehicles, and tools. Yamaha, conquer outdoors.
We're in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and for the 185th straight year, the Frex, the Fredericton exhibition, is about to get started. This is the second straight year they've had a lumberjack competition inside the Coliseum building right here behind us. We've got the best competitors from Eastern Canada competing for $9,000 in prize money in 9 different events. Hi, I'm Bill Deba with my co-host, Lumberjack sport analyst Rod Cumberland. And Rod, this week we're covering the exciting conclusion of the competition. We've got the underhand chop, we've got the hot saw, and the kettle boil. What do you like there?
Underhand chop, tough one to call, but boys, Marcel Dupuy's been chopping unbelievably this summer. 2 young guns, my boys, Ben and Nathan, have really been given a run for it, but of course also added to the field here is the guys from Quebec and Cecil Starr.
Always an exciting event. The crowd's going to love it, especially indoors. It's going to be loud, fast, and furious. The hot saw. We got some great machines and some great competitors.
World-class competitors. Paul Woodland, we know, is a world record holder in the hot saw. Big Moyle Conrad's here from Greenfield, Nova Scotia. Obviously, JP and Donald are here. Cecil has a saw, and Scott Reed's been building his own, and he's going to try to give them all a run for the money in the NASCAR of the lumberjack world.
Well, the lumberjack world and the forestry world, for that matter, in New Brunswick is all located here in Fredericton, New Brunswick. We got the Houma University of New Brunswick, the Maritime College of Forest Technology. The feds are located here as well as the provincial government. Our leaderboard as we head down the home stretch of this competition is really a 2-horse race. Marcel Dupuy and Donald Lambert, a couple of French Canadians, are leading the way, and they are going to be tough to catch. We are headed into the underhand chop. We're going to be showing you the top 4 heats. We're starting things off with a couple of guys who know each other quite well. Nick Graham taking on Scott Reed.
Both guys graduates of the Nova Scotia Agricultural College. Scott Reed still there coaching the team. Both guys, actually Nick Graham loves the underhand chop. Scott Reed is not one of his favorite events. And the wood here, we're chopping 12-inch round aspen, has proven to be really tough wood.
Yeah, a couple of, and also not consistent as well. Some guys are really getting pumpkins. Some guys are getting firm blocks. You never know. That's why it's a bit of a luck of a draw when you draw in lumberjack sports.
That's right. That's why we do draw for wood. And you see Nick Graham got a great draw. Look at his block. He's putting his drivers in to turn to the second side. Scott Reed still on the front side.
Nick Graham makes his big slab coming off it as well. It's another show of a nice pumpkin. Scott Reed still struggling on his first side. Makes his turn over to the backside. Almost loses balance. Costs him an extra second there.
Nick Graham is driving it off here right now. His time is off 25.4. Nick Graham is going to set the time to beat in the underhand chop as Scott Reed finishes his block.
Nick, I mean, you've always been a strong guy, but looking at your lines there, you've always been working on a little bit of accuracy.
That is the key. I've been working hard on accuracy. I usually hit hard, but the accuracy is the key to this, yeah.
I mean, the wood is pretty firm. Other guys are complaining of real firm wood, but that is the key, obviously, power and accuracy. And you made your turn, and you're looking pretty sharp there.
Thank you very much. It was good. It was fun. No, I made my hits where I needed to make the hits, and it went good from there.
Hello, my name's Moyle Conrad. I live in Nova Scotia, and I'm a professional lumberjack.
I'm Gaston Duperrey. I'm from Saint-Fulgence, Quebec. I'm working for Rio Tinto Alcan, like operator.
Moyle Conrad, always the clown, professional lumberjack, even though he's been doing it for a lot of years. He's actually a foreman at a mill in Greenfield, Nova Scotia. It's the big guy versus the French Canadian.
And both guys hard hitters at the underhand chop. Moyle obviously has a distinct advantage with his size and strength, but boys, you can never count Gaston Duperrey out in the underhand chop. He makes his turn a little early. Look at the wood he left in his seconds on his first side. That may cost him when he tries to put drivers in on the second side.
Well, Gaston, I'm not sure if he did all the work necessary in the front side. He's going to try and drive things off, maybe a little bit too early. He didn't do his homework on the front. Moyle could catch him right now, but Royal's running out of gas as well. He's got a lot of work yet to do, and Gaston wins the heat 29-9. He does not lower the time to beat, but Gaston in the twilight of his career.
In the twilight of his career, but still a good competitor. He slows down a lot here as he tries to drive this block off. Cost him a little bit of time. He actually could have been down around 25 seconds.
In the underhand chop, you're never done until the job is done. In any chopping event for that matter, it's Nick Graham with his pumpkin block still leading the way with a 25-4-3, 4 seconds clear of the rest of the field. While in New Brunswick, we had a chance to visit with Rod Cumberland, our TV analyst, just outside of Fredericton and Keswick Ridge on his homestead.
Over there for 3 days and train.
I guess I had the luxury of having two grandfathers on both sides of the family that actually worked in the woods in this province. Cumberland's down in Charlotte County were lumbermen, and on my mom's side of the family he was a log driver on the Nashwauk River, so had deep lumberjack roots in the province. I grew up, had an interest in forestry, so I wound up at UNB and took forestry there, and they had a woodsman's team there, and I threw my hat into the ring there the first fall I went to UNB, and I loved it. It was an addiction. I get into it, and it was I couldn't get away from it. It was like a disease, and went around afterwards. I went out west and tried my hand out west in a few jobs, but really loved the province, so we came back here and decided to raise a family here in New Brunswick, and we set our roots down just outside of Fredericton here in a place called Keswick Ridge, nice little farming community. We have a little hobby farm, and been living there ever since. My lovely wife, Dawn, we've been together for 22 years, and then we started having kids and had so much fun at it. We had 4, so my youngest is Katie, she's 11, and Emily's my older girl, she's the oldest of the 2, and she's 15, and she's a horse nut. And then, of course, I have the 2 boys, Ben and Nathan, 17 and 19 years old, and they're almost ready to spread their wings and fly. I told the guys a few years ago I came out of retirement, I wanted to jump back, and I love competing, and I love just something about driving a razor-sharp axe and a soft block of wood and doing it well. You just never get away from that feeling. It's something I really love to do, and I always wanted to compete with my kids. They're old enough now, they're doing well. I don't really compete with them now, I'm trying to chase them a little bit because they're doing far better than I ever did. So I do that, and of course I took a career change just last year. I was a wildlife biologist for 22 years and left the government, and now I'm with the Maritime College of Forest Technology, who also happen to have a woodsman's team. So I've been able to coach those guys the last few years, and that's been a real rewarding, and of course obviously coaching the boys. My boys have really taken it seriously, and they're excelling right now, so I like to see how far they can go with it all. So it's a lot of fun. Traveling around on the weekends, hanging out with those guys, chopping a few blocks. What a better way to spend the summer. I know my wife would like to be in a campground, however, we'd like to be at the shows.
Well, certainly both you and I, Rod, have been competing in lumberjack sports for well over 30 years now, and we know it's all about family. It's all about the people. You know, I continue to do this because the people are so genuine, and you know, it gets handed down through the generations like your family, and it happens in a lot of different families.
Well, lumberjack roots run deep from west coast to east coast, whether it's the Boykos and the Bischoffs on the west coast or the Borks and the Cumberlands on the east coast.
Heading into the 3rd heat of the Underhand Chop, we got Paul Woodland taking on Jeff Larkin. Still a time to beat. Nick Graham with a 25 seconds set way back in the 1st heat.
Look at Jeff Larkin's wood. He's opening up to a knot that's going to slow him down a bit. Paul Woodland's block seems to be firm as well, and if Paul gets a firm block, it really discourages him.
Well, he punches that knot out, but it seems to take a little bit of gas out of him. Nick Graham is now on his backside, so it's Jeff Larkin on his backside. Paul Woodland makes his turn a little bit behind him.
Paul has a really tough block and has taken his toll on him. Jeff Larkin here is getting into the small wood. He's going to start putting his drivers in. He's got a few chips. He'll be driving here shortly, and he's going to try to lower the time, but it's not going to happen in this heat.
And Jeff Larkin comes in with a 32.4, still 7 seconds behind the leader, Nick Graham, with 25 seconds. Jeff, you opened up to a little bit of a knot there, and a couple of issues. Not exactly as clean a block as you probably would have liked.
No, I took a bit of a gamble. I was split second. I probably could have dumped my better axe and got my one that wasn't as good, but I took the risk and it paid off.
So did you were reading into that knot before you even started?
Before I started, yeah, I could see I was really close to a couple knots, and I didn't know if I would open up to one, but unfortunately I did.
And you checked your axe after your chop. I saw you looking at it, then you're good to go?
Big sigh of relief. Yeah, we're good to go.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Well, you can see in the replay how he opens up to the knot, a clear shot of it. What do you do when you open up and see that?
Well, if he's that far in, what actually he did, he stopped chipping on the knot side and just put his drivers in on the opposite side and tried to stay clear of it. So that was probably a pretty smart move by Jeff.
Well, we got the Alpa guy coming up right now, Mario Borg taking on young Nathan Cumberland, actually 17 years old in the Underhand Chop, coming a long way.
You see him doing that little hair pull on the side of his head. Carl Bischoff on the West Coast told him to do that to get you wound up before you start chopping. He and Ben, I see them doing that all the time here today. Get themselves wound up. It seems to be working because he's making a switch to the second side already.
Big power hitting Nathan Cumberland coming a long way here, trying to take down Nick Graham with 25 seconds. He's picking up the pace as he makes his way over the backside. Mario's trying to track him down.
Nathan always has a good pace. You see him stepping in a little bit there. He won't like that. He's going to drive it off here now. He also ran into a knot, but he's got the block off.
Nate Cumberland sets his time to beat in his heat, 27.53. I think you were a little bit disappointed with your wood itself, right? When you opened up, you saw a lot of a few knots and a little bit of issues that you didn't want to deal with.
I had a lot of knots just I could see from the block anyway. So when I got in there, yeah, there was a few. The wood's it varies quite a bit today. Some guys get a good block, and that's why we draw wood. That's what it comes down to. So had a bit of a harder block, so I just took my time, slowed down, and hit it hard.
Well, you're a big guy, so I mean, strength has got to be a big part of your game. Hitting it hard, right?
Yep. I haven't been hitting as hard as I can be. I've typically on a nicer block, I go a lot faster. I need to slow my pace down and hit hard. So.
And accurate.
Yes, and accurate. I need to work on my lines.
All right, thanks, Nate.
No problem.
Yeah, good job by Nate Cumberland there. Likely going to finish him in the money here in the top 5. We only got 2 choppers to go. Marcel Dupuis taking on Donald Lambert. We consistently see these 2 guys in the last heat of all the chopping events because they are the 2 feature matchups here.
Well, Cecil Starr was a no-show at the Frex this year, so obviously that leaves a little bit of room for these guys. Both heavy hitters. They're both chopping really well in Eastern Canada right now. It's going to be a great race. They're going stroke for stroke right now.
Way back in the first heat, we had Nick Graham set the time of beat 25 seconds. Both these guys are going to try and take that time down.
Looks like Marcel is a good block. Marcel turns first. Donald seems to be slowing down a little bit. He's having a hard time getting the chip on this second side, but Marcel Dupuis making no waste of time here. He's into the small wood.
Donald really struggling. Marcel wins the underhand chop with a time of 22.54. I counted 12 and 11 on the backside. Would you like to go on 12 and 10, or was 12 and 11 about your strategy?
Well, I didn't count anything because I didn't know how the wood was going to react. The wood seemed to be a bit firm today. Everybody was chopping at slower time, so I was just going so I could get halfway and then turn. So whatever it was, it was.
Now, do you think it's a little bit of an advantage to be able to watch a bunch of guys first and see how the wood's reacting?
Oh, definitely. You see what they're doing and what kind of pattern, how much time they're taking, so you can make a little game plan in your head.
So that's the part of the sport, though. I mean, the better choppers always go at the end. So advantage to you guys a little bit.
Oh, definitely, but you got to work your way up for you to go chop at the end. So that's all part of the game. Start at the bottom of the ladder and you work your way up. So
thanks, Marcel.
Thank you very much.
Well, in most lumberjack sports, they seed the best competitors to go at the end of all the heats. Nick Graham went really early and surprised the whole field with a second place finish at 25 seconds. Well, here we are at the long-standing tradition called the Frex here in Fredericton, New Brunswick on Labor Day weekend. It's a 10-day celebration, agricultural celebration, and a couple of things that always remain the same are the livestock, the games of chance, and the midway. We are at the 2nd annual Eastern Canadian Lumberjack Championships. We are heading into the water boil. I know Rod Cumberland refers to it as the kettle boil. Either way, you're building a fire and you're boiling some water, and we have got one massive heat of competitors here.
You want to do it as fast as you can. You get 5 matches. You've got to make shavings as quickly as you can, get them started, and get the trick is to get the kettle on the fire as fast as you can to heat it up.
Well, typically the kettle is an apple juice can, which you can see right there. They've got some charred apple juice cans, 8 ounces of soapy water, and of course when the water boils, the soap will boil over the edge of the can. You see some guys within 10 to 15 seconds, they got a fire going, and they're trying to build from there.
Lots of good competitors here. Scott Reed, a good camera shot of him right now, going as fast as he can. He coaches this event, obviously, at the Nova Scotia Agriculture College, or Dalhousie Agricultural Campus now. Also, Mario Bork's in here. Moyle Conrad, we've seen him do great kettle boils before, so could be anybody's game, but you've got to move fast.
And you mentioned one of the keys to success there. Here we see a fire going there, but the kettle's not on there. So you have a fire going. You should at least be using one hand to get that heat going to that can as quickly as possible. Once again, Paul Woodland here. He's got a huge fire going, but look at his kettle over on the left-hand side. Could be, getting some heat on it right now.
It's sitting where it shouldn't be. Here's Big Moyle Conrad, and he has it where it's supposed to be. The kettle's over the fire here. Another kettle here on the fire like it should be. The key here now is to build the wood up around the side of the can to contain your heat around the can, and then of course put the oxygen to it.
Certainly we see it over the years. We see a lot of guys build the fire underneath the can, but they don't realize that to get the water to boil up over the edge of the can, you got to heat up the sides of the can as well. So Scott Reed here, you can see him closing his fire in as much as possible to try and keep those flames from escaping.
And of course, everybody's now trying to put oxygen on it however they can. That's a good one here. They got the wood right up over the side of it. Ben's got a good fire going here, but the object then at the end of the game is to get as much oxygen in there to get the fire roaring.
Usually a good time comes in somewhere around 3 minutes for 8 ounces of water. This is an event that has been done all over Eastern Canada. They do it a little bit out west. We should have a winner very shortly. Ryan McIntyre, he's got his fire suit on. He's blowing away. There's Scott Reed blowing away as well. And Scott Reed comes up as a winner in this heat with a 57.8 winner of the kettle boil.
It's a massive field of guys. They're all going head-to-head, and Scott Reed puts it together and bats them all.
Pretty solid field of competitors. I mean, the Maritimers are always known for the water boil, the kettle boil, whatever you want to call it. We got Cumberland in there, Moyle Conrad, all that sort of stuff. Number one, Scott Reed. I've seen you win them before. Just give me a couple of your secrets.
Oh, I can't give you my secrets.
You got to give me some of your secrets.
First of all, lots of shavings. Lots of shavings is a big key. Small pencils, getting a good base on. If you don't have your can on within 20 seconds, you're pretty much lost. Today was a good time, sub 3 minutes. I was pretty proud of that. Unofficially, I guess. That's what I seen on the stopwatch. But I'm really happy all around.
So I see guys building big platforms, big bases, lots of shavings, all those things you said, but they take forever to get their can on. You got to get heat to that can pronto, right?
Yeah, heat to the can. I mean, we're boiling water. As fast as you can get it on, sooner it's heating up. Sooner it heats up, you win.
Well, a few familiar names here on the scoreboard at the end. Moyle Conrad and Paul Wooden. But out in front, 2 college grads, Ryan McIntyre and Scott Reed, leading the way.
And here we are at the second annual Eastern Canadian Lumberjack Championships being hosted by the Frex, which is the Eastern Canadian celebration on Labor Day, hosted right here in Fredericton, New Brunswick. A great celebration of all things agriculture. We are heading into the hot saw, and as you mentioned at the top of the show, Rod Cumberland, it is the NASCAR of lumberjack sports. First seed, we got Roger McPhee taking on Gaston DePerry.
2 of the best in the business. Roger McPhee was a 5-time provincial chainsaw champion. He's still at it here with his saw. Gaston DuPré, we know, holds world records. This should be a great, fast race.
A little bit of a mismatch, though. It's like Roger's got a modified chainsaw. Gaston's got his 250 Honda. Gaston went to the wood. Roger having a hard time starting it. Gaston with his second cut, upcut. A little bit of a malfunction there, and Roger McPhee into the wood well behind.
The whole idea here of Roger using that small saw, he's going to get some big ones, but see, we're only sawing 14 inches of round popple. So the small saws, typically they can run them faster, and they get a gain or a jump on these bigger saws.
The bigger saws weighing 60 to 70 pounds, they spend a little bit less time in the wood. The bigger bars means you have to clear the top of the wood before you go back in. And lighter handling saw by Roger McPhee can also allow him to make those switches a little bit quicker. Next heat is going to be Mario Bourque taking on Scott Reed. Time to beat Gaston in that last heat with a time of 5.76.
Big guns here. Mario Bourque, he actually has Paul Wooden's world record saw. Scott Reed is the one he made himself, and he's running pretty well. 3 good cuts by Scott Reed.
Good cut, as long as he stayed within the 6 inches. So I noticed just before the go signal, you rattled the whole thing. The whole stage is shaking. You know, I saw the curtains going and that sort of thing. Is that a bit of playing in your mind a little bit? The things are a little bit shaky up there?
A little bit, not too much. Actually, it's quite humid in here. My glasses are fogging up and falling down on my face. So that was more what I was trying to fix just before the go.
Making a little bit of wind turbulence there, clear up the glasses. So anyway, you got the DQ. Is it because you were fogged up or just too much horsepower?
Too much horsepower. No, I just cut the line. Happens. I'm not the best operator. It's only my second year in it. But saw ran great. Was pretty happy with that. Didn't fall apart, so it's all good.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks.
Well, all that horsepower in your hands with 60 to 70 pounds of machinery, it's tough to make 3 cuts within 6 inches. Next up, we got Paul Wooden taking on Moyle Conrad, and look at the humidity in here. Paul Wooden may be fogging up as well.
If this was NASCAR, this would be the Earnhardts and the Gordons of the NASCAR world. These are the big guns here in the hot saw world. And Big Moyle Conrad, he's laying right on that. He's laid 3 cuts down at 4.1.
Okay, the jinx is over. You said when the TV cameras come out, it doesn't necessarily work for you. With a 410, you're looking pretty hot.
That looks pretty good cut. I had a little boggle in the second cut. The engine has slowed down a little, so I had it eased up. But no, like I said, I go for it every time, and 4 seconds is pretty reasonable, 13-inch.
Well, Big Moyle Conrad, we know his motto. It's go big or go home. There's no room for second place in Moyle's vocabulary. We got one more heat to go. Once again, we got Marcel taking on Donald. 4.10 is the time to beat.
And these guys both in the running for the overall Lumberjack of the day, so they have to put in good cuts. And, of course, they're battling it out against one another. Big time to beat at 4.1.
3 cuts, down, up, down. Donald Lembert going well. Oh, he struggles at the very end there. 4.9. So you were trying to catch Moyle at 4.10. You came in with under 5 seconds, but you had difficulty in the second cut?
Well, no, not really. Well, I wanted to push. So I just pushed hard, and on the third cut, I killed my motor a little bit because it was not maybe RPM enough. And I make a try on that to be sure it's not the saw, it is me. So it is the saw can limit me a little bit.
Well, Donald can't be too happy with that. His little speed wobble in that cut cost him a couple of places in the standings and a few bucks in his bank account. Moyle Conrad wins it.
And the Crown pivotal point today focuses on Donald Lambert. Has a little bit of problem seeing the underhand chop as well as a hot saw, and it's going to cost him in the overall standings.
And cost him it did with only 325 points. Donald Lambert come up with only second place. But look at Ryan McIntyre, the young gun from UNB, coming in fourth with 175 points.
So Marcel, I mean, you got the best guys in all the Maritimes here and a couple of guys from Quebec as well. Pretty good field of competitors. Another strong performance for Marcel. Just tell me about your day a little bit.
Oh, I had a great day. Like, everything seemed to be going well for me today, and quite a few of the events that I like are here. So I like the chopping events. They were all here, and then pole climb, I seem to be not too bad at it. So it was just a great competition today.
I see a couple of young guys coming up. Specifically, Rod Cumberland's kids are coming up. A couple of UNB guys are coming on. So you're gonna have to keep your game up there to stay on top, I guess, right?
Oh, definitely. The competition level in the Maritimes is quite high right now, and like you said, there's quite a few people coming that are going to be very good and are very good already. So to keep up with these guys, we'll have to tighten our belts.
Well, wrap up the action and put some crown on the blades, because this show's all over for another year. The Fredericton Exhibition, great job here today, and it couldn't have happened without the great support of these sponsors.
186 years of history at the Fredericton Exhibition. What a fantastic show. But only the second year for the Eastern Canadian Lumberjack Championships. Great performance.
Great performance. Mike Volke and Ryan Cameron did a phenomenal job pulling it together. Nice to have it here in the hometown, and nice to get the axe out again, although I didn't do a very good job with it.
Come back again. We'll be in Barrie, Ontario for the Great Canadian Beaver Festival, and it'll be time for Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. K100, make water burn. Yamaha, conquer outdoors.
Mike, 186 years at a Fredericton Exhibition. Obviously, not everybody at the Frex is on payroll. You're going to obviously deal with, number one, getting sponsors as well as volunteers.
That's right. It's a whole community involvement at the Frex, where we have business partners in it. We've got volunteers that are working, and they're everything from today's activities and the Lumberjack Championship to the things that are going on in the Midway and around here to really make it a good community event.